continuing on the theme of migration, record numbers of migrants are now claiming universal credit, with new data out today showing an astonishing 472 new claimants every single day last month. Now, the total number of foreign nationals receiving the benefits has now surged to almost 1.3 million, and that's up 6.7% in just 1 year. Indeed, an estimated £10.3 billion a year is now spent on universal credits for immigrants in the UK. But is it time to revoke this altogether? Well, I'm joined now by Callum McGoldrick, who's the investigations campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance. Callum, welcome to the show. The figures are simply astonishing. £10 billion a year and rising. But the fact that 500 are signing on every single day, is it time to simply get rid of universal credit for those born overseas?
Well, good evening, Martin, and thank you very much for having me on. I think the simple answer is yes, it is. We look at our welfare bill that we know Labour tried to make changes to it earlier in the year. We're spending 300 billion on welfare alone. 88 billion of that is universal credit, of which, as you said, 10.3 billion is universal credit for foreign nationals. And you think, yeah, that's a pretty big saving that can be made by scrapping that.
Do you think that such notions that Shabana Mahmood mentioned today make it slightly harder? She said potentially she flew the kite that only Brits should get universal credit, but she wasn't resolutely clear on that. Do you think if she were to clamp down on anybody, or even some people from overseas being able to get universal credit, she'd run into huge issues with her own backbenchers, with the Labour Party itself, and of course with our friends at the European Court of Human Rights?
I think, obviously, yes, Labour don't want to leave the ECHR, as we're aware, and we know the previous government ran into problems with those. I think in terms of their own backbenchers, yes, they present a huge challenge as well, because like I said, last year, if you remember, they came up with the welfare reforms and they couldn't get it past their own backbenchers, let alone then surviving contact with sort of the House of Lords or courts.
Callum, of course, we have that budget. Everyone's looking through their fingers at it. We used to hide behind the sofa from Doctor Who. Now we hide behind the sofa from Rachel Reeves. On a serious point, do you think there's any appetite whatsoever to tackle the ballooning benefits bill in Britain?
I think possibly the Treasury know that they have to, but politically it's very difficult for them. And the obvious solution, especially when Labour's left flank is being eaten out by the Greens, is to go after more and more tax rises, which I think, as we both know, is not the correct answer.
Do you think there's any real appetite to cut benefits for people coming to the United Kingdom from those overseas, from the Labour Party, or is this just political necessity? It's a fight for survival. If they don't join the reform open window, they're simply toast.
I think it's very possible that a few on the Labour benches have a genuine wish to do so. I think whether the Home Secretary does is maybe a different question, given statements she's made in the past. But yes, I think they're absolutely very, very aware of the threat that reform poses to them, and they're trying to head that off.
And Callum, just in terms of the brutal economics of Britain's benefits bill, not just of those overseas, but of those on our own shores who simply don't go to work, how long can we keep this going before the country's simply bankrupt?
Well, they said we currently spend about 24% of the total government expenditure on welfare. It's simply unsustainable to keep it at that high. It's punishing working people who have to foot the bill for this every single year, and to a greater extent.
OK, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Callum McGoldrick, the investigations campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance. Thank you for your company.